On the day my daughter turned 1 month old, Nash Jiang threatened to throw her off the rooftop right in front of me. Lin Miao, why wasn't it you who died that day? If you jump from here, I'll spare the child. It was then that I realized Nash Jiang had always been in love with my best friend, to save my daughter's life. I tearfully agreed to jump off the building, but at the moment I leaped, Nash Jiang threw my daughter down. Lin Miao, you and this bastard child deserve to die. Go to hell and apologize to Iris. I desperately reached out to grab my daughter's clothes, but I couldn't even catch a corner of her garment. When I opened my eyes again, I had returned to the day the cruise ship sank. Meow meow, Shenyang is here. Wow, his figure is amazing. His fingers are half the length of the steering wheel. This man is totally my type. As I came to my senses, I heard the excited voice of my best friend, Iris Su. I was dazed for a moment before I realized I had been reborn. Reborn on the day of the cruise ship disaster from my past life. My best friend Iris Su is a top-tier green tea expert, a natural-born master of romance. When she sets her sights on a man, she rarely fails. After running into Shenyang, the CEO of a partner company, at work, she was utterly captivated. Without hesitation, she dumped her current boyfriend and set her sights on seducing Shenyang. Upon learning that Shenyang was hosting a 5-day, 4-night banquet on this cruise ship, she immediately managed to get her hands on 2 invitations. If nothing unexpected happens, she would most likely succeed as well. But an unexpected event did occur. The cruise ship ran into trouble, since most people on the cruise ship were either wealthy or influential. The safety measures on board were naturally very thorough, with even helicopters in the sky. Under normal circumstances, even if the ship sinks, the people on board can be rescued safely. But in her previous life, Iris Su died. She was an excellent swimmer and shouldn't have had an accident, but she was too reckless. After falling into the water, I grabbed 2 lifebuoys and handed one to her, but she refused because she had spotted Shenyang nearby. While on the cruise ship, she had already found an opportunity to strike up a conversation with Shenyang. Therefore, she was certain that Shenyang would come down to save her. At that moment, she could openly wrap her arms around Shenyang's neck and flirt with him freely. Meow meow, you go ahead and don't worry about me. Shenyang will definitely come down to save me, Iris Su said with a confident expression. Then she threw the other lifebuoy far away, but she forgot. This was the ocean, not a swimming pool. I had already boarded the lifeboat. While she was still waiting for Shenyang to come down and play the hero, but none of us knew that Shenyang was afraid of water. Just then, the whirlpool caused by the sinking cruise ship pulled Iris Su's body toward it. Iris Su panicked and cried for help, shouting loudly, "Shenyang, save me!" Shenyang naturally would not jump into the water to save her. The lifeguard heard her voice and rushed toward her quickly, but she deliberately pushed him away, saying, "I don't want you to save me, I want Shenyang to save me." With just that gentle push, she completely lost her chance to survive. The whirlpool completely swept her in. By the time the lifeguard rescued her and attempted to revive her, it was already too late. Iris Su, the love expert, was laid to rest in the deep sea. She was also the only person who died at the accident scene. I was extremely shocked and saddened for a long time after learning that Iris Su had died. I kept regretting not insisting that she wear that lifebuoy at the time. My boyfriend Nash Jiang was by my side the whole time, taking gentle and meticulous care of me. Keep telling me, meow meow, it's not your fault, don't blame yourself anymore. 3 years later, I gradually forgot the pain of that time and married Nash Jiang. Married life, though ordinary, was warm and cozy, until the day our daughter turned 1 month old. That day, I just went to make some formula milk for my daughter, and in that short time, she disappeared, just as I was panicking. I received a text message from Nash Jiang. He told me to go to the rooftop of the apartment. I thought he was taking our daughter there to get some sun, but when I arrived, I saw her holding her daughter's small body over the edge of the rooftop. She could fall and shatter at any moment. "Honey, what are you doing?" At that moment, my heart was in my throat. Nash Jiang, however, looked at me with a cold sneer. "Lin Miao, why wasn't it you who died that day? If it weren't for your jealousy of Iris, snatching her lifebuoy away, how could she have died in that accident?" I shook my head desperately. "Honey, that's not what happened. She threw the lifebuoy away herself. I didn't kill Iris Su." Nash Jiang doesn't believe what I said. "Iris isn't foolish. How could she possibly throw away the lifebuoy in that situation? It's just that you're jealous of her being prettier and more popular than you, so you took the chance to deliberately harm her. Do you want this wretched child to survive? Jump from here, and I'll let her go." Hearing Nash Jiang's words, my heart shattered as I stared intently at the little one, who had no idea what was happening and was even blowing a bubble. "Fine, I agree, I'll jump, just don't hurt the baby." With that, I climbed onto the rooftop. Then, with a reluctant look at his daughter, he fell backward, but I never expected that Nash Jiang would actually break his promise. Just as I was leaning back, he threw my daughter down with a look of satisfaction. "Lin Miao, you and this bastard child deserve to die. Go to hell and confess to Iris," with bloodshot eyes. I desperately tried to grab the child, but I couldn't even touch the hem of her clothes. Just before I fell and lost consciousness, another dull thud of a fall echoed in my ears. In an instant, an endless surge of hatred welled up in my heart. At this moment, the tourists were already preparing to board the boat. Iris Su gently brushed her wavy hair and also prepared to go over. Seeing this, I immediately picked up my phone and said, "Iris, wait. The signal is poor out at sea. I need to make a call to Nash." Iris Su's eyes flickered slightly as she nodded. Looking at my expression, there was a hint of unease. I suddenly realized, at this time in my previous life, Iris Su and Nash Jiang might have already been involved with each other, but that's normal. After all, ever since I was little, whenever a guy talked to me a few more times, before long, they would all be flocking around Iris Su. If you ask if I was jealous, I certainly was at times, but what I feel more towards Iris Su is gratitude, because when I was a child and my mother was seriously ill, it was Iris Su who begged her mother to lend my family money, saving my mother's life. I am not an ungrateful wretch, so all these years, even though I knew I was just a sidekick by Iris Su's side, I didn't mind. Without Iris Su, I would have been an orphan long ago. I always remember that she saved my mother's life. As for Nash Jiang, when I first introduced him to Iris Su, I was very nervous, worried that he might fall for Iris Su like other guys did. But Nash Jiang behaved with great propriety and later even said he didn't like girls like Iris Su who dressed too elaborately, preferring someone gentle and nurturing like me. Telling me not to overthink it, I was convinced that I had found my perfect match. Little did I know, he was just being insincere. Without my knowledge, he had long been deeply in love with Iris Su. I let out a cold laugh in my heart and made a call to Nash Jiang. "Nash, something urgent came up on my end, and I need to rush back to the company. Iris has 2 tickets, and it'd be a shame to waste them. Why don't you go with her?" I said to Nash Jiang. Nash Jiang agreed without hesitation. "Good. I just finished what I was working on. Where are you? I'll head over right away." I gave a slightly sarcastic look. Finished? If I remember correctly, Nash Jiang should be busy with a very important project at this moment. In his previous life, he was promoted to general manager because of this project proposal. But this time, hearing that he could spend 5 days and 4 nights alone with Iris Su, he actually said he was done with his work. Is this what you call not liking a girl as refined as Iris Su? Has he forgotten about avoiding suspicion now? Men, they really are all big pig's feet. After hanging up the phone, I looked apologetically at Iris Su and said, "Iris, I'm sorry, something urgent came up at my company, so I can't go on vacation with you. But don't worry, Nash Jiang happens to be free, and I've already asked him to come and keep you company." Hearing this, Iris Su gave me a surprised look. Then she said playfully, "You're letting your boyfriend come with me. Are you really okay with that?" I gave her a light smile. "What are you talking about? He doesn't like girls who are too pretty like you. I'm completely at ease with him. Besides, even a rabbit doesn't eat the grass by its own burrow," I said with a hint of pride. Iris Su raised an eyebrow. "And there are men who don't like pretty girls. TSK, the things he says, only a little fool like you would believe them." But in her eyes, there was clearly a trace of mockery and disdain. Actually, I know that a guy like Nash Jiang, who is quite handsome and good-looking, doesn't even catch Iris Su's eye these days. After all, every boyfriend she's ever dated has had both looks and wealth. Only those who are good-looking can meet her standards. Only those with money can satisfy her material desires. Nash Jiang is quite a good match for me. But for Iris Su, who has seen it all, he probably isn't that impressive. Iris Su looked slightly sarcastic at the moment. Probably because she had already hooked up with Nash Jiang and felt disdainful of his hypocritical words, I pursed my lips, waved at Iris Su, and then turned around and left in a hurry. I did not leave immediately. Instead, I found a hidden spot to wait for Nash Jiang to arrive. In less than half an hour, Nash Jiang arrived. When he saw Iris Su, a gentle smile appeared on his usually composed face. Iris, Nash Jiang quickly stepped forward, eagerly reaching out to take Iris Su's hand, as if they were a couple. Iris Su, however, brushed his hand away and asked him something. Nash Jiang immediately began to placate her with gentle, coaxing words. I guess Iris Su was probably asking him if it was true that he doesn't like pretty girls. Soon, Nash Jiang wrapped his arm around Iris Su's slender waist, and they left together like a perfect couple. At that moment, a sea breeze blew over. I smelled the damp, salty air and curled my lips mockingly as I looked toward the cruise ship. Iris Su's target is Shenyang. I can't wait to see how Nash Jiang feels when he watches the one he loves flirt with another man right in front of him. An hour later, the cruise ship set off. I watched the distant silhouette of the cruise ship indifferently, then turned around and went home to sleep. At 5 o'clock the next morning, the cruise ship indeed met with an accident, just as it had in my previous life. Fortunately, the accident happened at dawn, so the rescue operation wasn't too difficult. This was also the main reason why, in the previous life, everyone except Iris Su, who brought it upon herself, was quickly rescued. If it had been in the middle of the night, the rescue might not have gone so smoothly. After the news of the cruise ship accident came, I rushed to the dock immediately. Every time a lifeboat arrived, I anxiously rushed forward. After searching through 5 or 6 lifeboats, I still couldn't find Iris Su and Nash Jiang. Just as I was secretly wondering, another lifeboat arrived. I rushed forward and quickly spotted Iris Su and Nash Jiang holding each other. Iris, Nash, are you both okay? I heard the cruise ship had an accident, and I was scared to death. Thank goodness you're both safe, I said, my voice trembling with emotion as I looked at them. Looking up, I saw Nash Jiang glance at me with utter disgust. That look was exactly the same as the one he gave me when he used our daughter to force me to jump off the building. But when he looked down at Iris Su, his eyes were filled with the joy of having regained what was lost. I suddenly realized that Nash Jiang had also been reborn. Knowing that Nash Jiang has also been reborn, I couldn't help but think to myself, excellent. If Nash Jiang knew nothing of the past, what would be the point of my revenge? I want him to live a life worse than death. Burdened with the guilt of having killed his own daughter, Lin Miao, you must be very disappointed to see that Iris is fine, aren't you? Nash Jiang said coldly to me at that moment. I feigned confusion as I looked at him. Nash, what nonsense are you talking about? I'm overjoyed that Iris is fine. Why would I be disappointed? My face was full of bewilderment and the grievance of being wronged. Nash Jiang, however, snorted coldly. It's a good thing I was the one who went with Iris this time, or you would have gotten her killed. I looked at him with a helpless expression. Nash, I don't understand what you're talking about. Enough. I don't want to hear another word from a malicious woman like you. We're done. Just looking at you makes me sick, Nash Jiang said to me with disgust. Not even bothering to pretend anymore, he then urgently picked up Iris Su and quickly walked toward the ambulance. Iris Su looked at me anxiously. Meow meow, I'm sorry. I don't know why he suddenly became like this, but Nash Jiang said to her, Iris, what is there to say to a malicious woman like Lin Miao? She's always been jealous of you. Don't be fooled by her innocent appearance, Iris Su exclaimed in a delicate, surprised tone. How could that be? Meow meow is my best friend. You're just too naive and kind-hearted, always thinking the best of everyone. Nash Jiang's eyes were full of tenderness and affection. I stood there in a daze, watching their retreating figures. Suddenly, Iris Su turned back and gave me a slight, smug smile. Then she timidly shrank into Nash Jiang's arms. However, when it came to this experience, Iris Su did feel a lingering fear. In the past, to get close to a handsome and well-built swimmer, she had specifically learned how to swim. So she was somewhat confident in her swimming skills. Therefore, although she panicked for a moment when she fell into the water, she quickly calmed down. Moreover, having successfully met Shenyang the previous night, when she spotted him nearby, she immediately pushed the lifebuoy away and called out his name loudly for help. Unexpectedly, Shenyang ignored her completely and instead sent a lifeguard to rescue her. To her surprise, a whirlpool suddenly formed around her. pulling her down into the water. The moment seawater flooded her mouth and nose, she panicked completely and began struggling desperately. It was at this moment that Nash Jiang rushed over and saved her without any regard for his own safety. When he rescued her, his eyes were red with relief, as if he had found a long-lost treasure. It was at this moment that she began to take an interest in Nash Jiang. A man willing to risk his life for her is far rarer than one who is merely willing to spend money on her. So Lin Miao, sorry, but I'm taking your boyfriend. To avoid arousing Nash Jiang's suspicion, after a moment of shock, I quickly ran over to them. Nash, why are you breaking up with me for no reason? I looked at him pitifully. Nash Jiang looked at me impatiently. Lin Miao, please get the hell away from me. The one I love has always been Iris. I immediately shook my head with tears in my eyes. Impossible. Didn't you say you didn't like Iris? Nash Jiang looked at me mockingly at that moment. You don't even see how you could possibly compare to Iris. I only said those things to comfort you and protect your self-esteem. Any man would know who to choose between you and Iris if they stood side by side. If I were you, I would have been ashamed of myself long ago. How could I have the nerve to be friends with such a beautiful girl like Iris? I looked at him with a deeply hurt expression. Then I turned to Iris Su with a pleading look. Iris, you don't like him, right? As soon as I said this, Nash Jiang glared at me angrily. Lin Miao, you still claim you're not malicious. You clearly know that Iris is kind-hearted and would never say anything to hurt you. You're just trying to emotionally manipulate Iris on purpose. I just stared intently at Iris Su. After a moment, Iris Su looked at me helplessly, seemingly apologetic, but her eyes were full of triumph. Sorry, Miao Miao, I never expected Nash Jiang to love me so much that he would risk his life to save me. He is different from all the guys I've dated before, and it's only now that I've come to see my true feelings. Nash Jiang immediately beamed with ecstasy upon hearing this. I, on the other hand, looked at her in disbelief and took a few steps back, but as I stepped back, I accidentally bumped into someone else. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. I quickly turned around, tears in my eyes, and apologized. But as I looked up, I met a cold and stern face. It was Shenyang. With such a major incident happening on the cruise ship, as the organizer, he naturally had to step forward to reassure the passengers. It's okay. Shenyang's long, slender hands firmly supported my arm, and after he appeared, Iris Su's attention was clearly entirely focused on Shenyang. Iris Su was now looking at Shenyang with a lingering, affectionate gaze. She felt a bit like getting down from Nash Jiang's back. Obviously, if she had known Shenyang would come, she wouldn't have said those things just now. Shenyang, you're here, but Shenyang just glanced indifferently at Iris Su, then immediately instructed his secretary to send all the injured passengers to the hospital as soon as possible. I didn't linger any longer. After taking one last heartbroken look at the two of them, I held back my tears and resolutely walked away. Pa, even if Nash Jiang doesn't break up with her today, she will eventually find a reason to end things with him. Iris Su loves proving her charm by conquering men, but if she were to actually be with Nash Jiang, she might just put a stop to her flirtatious adventures. She wants to see just how much of Nash Jiang's affection can withstand Iris Su's repeated squandering. That evening, Iris Su hypocritically called me again, wanting to apologize. I replied calmly, Iris, I'm very grateful that you saved my mother back then, but over the years, I've worked tirelessly for you, which should be enough to repay your kindness. I wish you and Nash Jiang a long and happy life together. From now on, we are no longer friends. After saying that, I hung up the phone and blocked both of their numbers. I wish you two a perfect match, a dog and a bitch, forever and ever. After quickly pulling myself together, I opened my computer and wrote my resignation letter, while also reaching out to the headhunter who had contacted me a few days ago. I work at the same company as Nash Jiang, but we're not in the same department. After what happened to Iris Su in my previous life, I lost my motivation and gave up on my career, but I'm also a top graduate from Tsinghua University, and I often get approached by headhunters trying to recruit me. The salary they offer is more than 3 times what I make now. But at that time, I wanted to commute to work with Nash Jiang, so I declined. This time, I won't give up my job for anyone again. The headhunter quickly got in touch with me and sent over the information about the hiring company. What I didn't expect, though, was that this company turned out to be the Shun Group. Shun Group is the company where Shenyang works. When Iris Su first took a liking to Shenyang, She actually considered working at Shun Group to increase her chances of running into him. However, the hiring standards at Shun Group are too high. Iris Sue is beautiful, but she was busy with relationships in high school, so she ended up only getting into a third-tier university. She submitted her resume, but didn't even make it past the initial screening stage. Even though the job she was applying for was just a receptionist position at Shun Group, these days, there are really so many women who are both beautiful and highly educated. Iris Sue may be attractive and emotionally intelligent, but the first thing HR looks at when hiring is educational background. By the time I completed the resignation procedures, Nash Jiang still hadn't returned to work at the company. Some of his colleagues who knew about my relationship with Nash Jiang saw me and asked where Nash Jiang had gone. I replied calmly, "Sorry, Nash Jiang and I have broken up. I don't know where he is now." Then I left, carrying my small cardboard box. A week later, I started working at the headquarters of the Shun Group as the executive assistant to the CEO, responsible for assisting Shun Yang in organizing and analyzing various data, as well as gathering market information. When he saw me, Shun Yang was slightly surprised. "It's you." I gave him a faint nod and said, "Hello, Mr. Shun, I'm the new assistant, Lin Miao." Shun Yang nodded slightly in return. Several other secretaries and executive assistants also came over to greet me. After that, everyone officially got busy. Processing data is a very tedious task, but for me, it just feels relaxing. I was busy all morning and didn't think about Iris Sue and Nash Jiang even a little bit. It wasn't until the CEO's assistant knocked on my desk that I snapped back to reality. It was time to go eat. A few days later, I had completely adapted to the fast-paced work environment at Shun Group. That day after work, as soon as I got home, I saw Nash Jiang standing at my doorstep. Seeing me return, Nash Jiang's face darkened. "Did you resign?" I looked at him with a strange expression and said coldly, "What else? You do have some self-awareness, Lin Miao. It's your good fortune that Iris Sue is still willing to be friends with you, yet you dared to block her and upset her." Nash Jiang looked at me with disgust. "If it weren't for Iris, I wouldn't have come to find you." I couldn't help but sneer. "Did you come here today just to spout this meaningless nonsense? It was you who said you didn't like Iris Sue before, and now it's you who suddenly wants to break up with me. I don't even know when the two of you got together, and now you have the nerve to come and question me for blocking you." Nash Jiang's face darkened upon hearing my words. "Lin Miao, stop maliciously slandering Iris Sue here. Iris Sue kept her distance from me out of consideration for you. It was me who couldn't control myself and developed feelings for her. Iris Sue is innocent. The reason I'm breaking up with you is simply because I've seen through your venomous heart. You've been jealous of Iris for a long time because she's prettier and more popular than you. If it weren't for me this time, you probably would have killed Iris when she fell into the water. Me, with a heart as venomous as a snake or scorpion. Pa, even a vicious tiger wouldn't harm its own cub, but you. Nash Jiang, threw your own daughter off the top floor. Who really has a heart as venomous as a snake or scorpion? Don't forget, Nash Jiang, when you were hugging and cuddling with Iris Sue, we hadn't even broken up yet. No matter how eloquently you try to talk your way out of it, it won't change the fact that both of you were disloyal and unjust to me. I don't want to see you anymore, so get away from my doorstep right now." I glared coldly at Nash Jiang. In my heart, I wished I could tear him apart and devour his flesh, but I held back the hatred in my heart and didn't let Nash Jiang see that I had also been reborn. Seeing me say this, Nash Jiang's eyes grew even colder. "If it weren't for Iris worrying about you and asking me to come check on you, do you think I would be here? You poisonous woman, you don't deserve Iris's concern." With that, Nash Jiang snorted coldly and left. "I just find it ridiculous. Iris Sue would be worried about me. I'm afraid she deliberately let Nash Jiang come to provoke me, just to make me feel worse. Right, unfortunately, she is bound to be disappointed. If it were me in a past life, I would definitely be very sad and become even more insecure, but in this life, I won't be. Iris Sue might be great, but I'm definitely not bad either. She may be better looking than me and better at flirting with men, but I have a higher education than her, and my career is going very well now. If that's the case, why should I envy or be jealous of Iris Sue? As I become more familiar with my work, I am getting faster and faster at handling data. Several executive assistants have gradually come to respect me. Shun Yang has been relying on me more and more. That day, Shenyang was going out to discuss a collaboration. When I brought in the documents, he said to me, "Assistant Lin, come with me to Benteng later to discuss a collaboration." Hearing this, I was a bit surprised, but I quickly nodded. And Pentium is the company where Iris Su works. I knew that if Iris Su hadn't given up on Shenyang, she would definitely appear in front of him. My guess was correct. Just as Shenyang was discussing a collaboration with the CEO of Pentium, Iris Su came in smiling, carrying tea. However, when she saw me, her expression paused for a moment before she resumed her usual demeanor and came in to pour tea. After preparing the tea, Iris Su consciously stepped out. It's true that she knows how to charm men, but she has always been very tactful and would not cause annoyance in such a formal setting, affecting the cooperation between the two companies. However, before leaving, she gave me a slightly cold glance. After signing the contract, I followed Shenyang out of the Pentium building. Not long after, I received a text message from Iris Su. "Meow meow, even if you're angry with me, you don't have to spitefully go after Shenyang. He's not someone you should even dream of." Seeing Iris Su's text, I sneered and deleted it. Why am I not worthy of dreaming about Shenyang? So, are all the good men in the world only meant for her? Iris Su, of course. I also know that there is a world of difference between me and Shenyang, but just because of what Iris Su said, I won't let her have the chance to get Shenyang. 6 months later, I had firmly established myself at the headquarters of the Shun Group because of my sensitivity to data, quick reactions, and fluency in several languages. Shenyang often took me to various evening events as his companion. At times like these, I was especially grateful to my past self for studying so diligently. If I hadn't studied hard and mastered so much knowledge and skills, how would I have the opportunity to stand by someone like Shenyang now? Moreover, my colleagues around me are all outstanding, and working with them has made me increasingly aware of my own value. Iris Su's high emotional intelligence and skill in romance are her strengths. But my strong work ability is also my own capability. Soon, it was time for the Shun Group's annual gala. Because I received a 6-figure year-end bonus, I was in a great mood and couldn't resist having a couple more drinks. At that moment, Shenyang's assistant suddenly came to my side and whispered, "Lin Miao, you'll take Mr. Shun back to the presidential suite upstairs later. I have something to attend to and need to head back first." I was taken aback for a moment, then nodded, "All right. Got it." Then I put down my wine glass and went to find Shenyang. Shenyang had also been plied with quite a bit of alcohol today. Although his complexion looked fine, the tips of his ears were already red. "Mr. Shun, let me take you upstairs to rest." The annual gala was held at a hotel owned by the Shun Group, which had a presidential suite reserved specifically for Shenyang. Shenyang nodded, but staggered slightly as he stood up. I quickly steadied him, and we immediately left the banquet hall and entered the elevator. After entering the elevator, Shenyang suddenly stared at me and said, "Did your boyfriend cheat on you?" Hearing this, I couldn't help but freeze for a moment. Then I let out a faint "Then his taste is a bit poor," Shenyang remarked. I couldn't help but look at him in astonishment. Then I quickly realized he was actually insulting Nash Jiang, so I couldn't help but curl my lips and say, "I think so too." As we spoke, the elevator had already arrived. I helped Shenyang to the door of the presidential suite and swiped the card to enter the room. As I helped Shenyang to the edge of the bed, the effects of the alcohol kicked in, and I felt a bit dizzy too. Shenyang stumbled at that moment, pulling me down with him. I ended up falling right on top of Shenyang. Looking up, I saw his sharp jawline clearly. "Mr. Shun." I hurriedly tried to stand up. Shenyang's hand, however, suddenly landed on the small of my back. Our eyes met, and the atmosphere in the air gradually began to feel off. Thinking of Iris Su's covetousness towards Shenyang, I couldn't help but feel a surge of malice. The next day when I woke up, my head felt a bit muddled. Awake, Shenyang's voice sounded beside my ear. I stiffly turned my head and gave him an awkward smile. "Mr. Shun, that last night was just an accident. Don't worry. I promise I won't take advantage of it to cling to you. Let's just pretend nothing happened. I'm done for. I'm done for." Shenyang is definitely going to suspect that I deliberately took advantage of being drunk to get close to him and use it as an opportunity to climb up. Sure enough, Shenyang's expression looks terrible. "Lin Miao, you actually don't want to take responsibility. I never expected you to be this kind of person," Shenyang said through gritted teeth. "You're a first-timer, But do you think I'm not? I couldn't help but freeze in astonishment. This isn't what I had imagined. Shouldn't he be calling me a scheming woman and telling me to get out? I'm sorry, Mr. Shun. If you don't mind, I'll take full responsibility. Shenyang's expression finally softened a bit. At least you still have some conscience. Shenyang snorted lightly. I couldn't help but twitch the corner of my mouth. Then, under Shenyang's disdainful gaze, I hurried forward like a little eunuch, serving him attentively with an overly flattering smile. I never dreamed that I could actually become Shenyang's girlfriend. I thought that after waking up, I would be fired by him. Unexpectedly, Shenyang frowned at me and said, "All right, being my girlfriend doesn't require you to do these small things." I was taken aback for a moment, then nodded. Since I had been taking care of Iris Su since childhood, and Nash Jiang mentioned that he liked the type of girl who is a good wife, over the years, I had grown accustomed to looking after others. I never expected that Shenyang, who should be used to being taken care of by others, would dislike me being this way. Should we keep our relationship a secret? I asked cautiously at that moment. After all, I still have some self-awareness. A man of Shenyang's caliber, even if he were willing to date me. The Shun family would absolutely never allow a girl from an ordinary background like me to enter their household. The only reason I can be with him now is thanks to his strong sense of responsibility. Shenyang heard my words but looked at me with displeasure. Why hide it? Do I really make you feel that embarrassed? Shenyang stared at me with a heavy gaze. I couldn't help but stare at him in astonishment. Then I shook my head frantically. No, Mr. Shun, that's not what I meant. You still call me President Shun. Shenyang. I mean, being able to date you is already me reaching beyond my station. I just feel like I'm not good enough for you and worry that if people find out, they'll laugh at your poor taste. I quickly explained, if I were a great beauty like Iris Su, I'd definitely be confident standing by Shenyang's side. But the truth is, I'm just a pretty girl from a modest background, not some stunning beauty. Whether you're worthy or not is for me to decide. What does it matter what others think? You're great. Why would you be unworthy of me? Shenyang's expression was surprisingly serious. I stared at him in a daze. I never expected Shenyang to think this way. For a moment, I couldn't help but feel my eyes slightly redden. Thank you. I never expected to receive such affirmation from Shenyang. Everything I said is the truth. No need to thank me. All right, get ready and let's go down for breakfast, Shenyang said at that moment. I nodded. My voice choked with emotion. Looking up, I saw Shenyang gazing at me with a deep, intense look. I instinctively avoided his gaze and quickly headed to the bathroom, and just like that, Shenyang and I became a couple. As expected, he had no intention of keeping our relationship a secret. So the other assistants quickly figured out what was going on between us. Upon learning this, the assistant secretly gave me a thumbs up. I smiled a little sheepishly. Honestly, I really couldn't figure out why Shenyang would be willing to be with me. In modern society, the relationship between men and women is no longer as conservative as it was in the past. It's all too common for someone to leave without taking responsibility after a night together. I never expected that Shenyang would want to be with me just because we had been together once. But I quickly reminded myself not to neglect my work just because I had become Shenyang's girlfriend. If Shenyang's parents found out we were together, who knows how they would try to stop us. The likelihood of breaking up is extremely high, but my work abilities will never leave me. They are far more reliable than men, and after the assistants saw me with Shenyang, they became even more diligent and were all full of admiration. In reality, I just never thought that Shenyang and I could be together for a long time. However, Shenyang takes this relationship much more seriously than I do. On Saturday, he actually took the initiative to take me on a date. But what I didn't expect was that we would run into Nash Jiang and Iris Su at the restaurant. When Iris Su saw Shenyang and me walking in hand, her eyes widened, and her face was full of disbelief. It never even crossed my mind that I would have the chance to be with a man as exceptional as Shenyang. And when Nash Jiang saw me with Shenyang, his expression turned sour. I just glanced at the two of them indifferently. On my way to the restroom, I was unsurprisingly stopped by Iris Su. Lin Miao, I didn't expect you to be quite capable, actually managing to hook a man like Shenyang. But soon, Iris Su narrowed her eyes, full of competitive spirit, and said, but do you really think someone like you can keep Shenyang for more than a few days? My heart sank. Shenyang was originally Iris Su's target, and now that she sees me with him, she will only become even more determined to pursue him. No matter how many days I can keep him, at least I've been with Shenyang. I looked coldly at Iris Su. As soon as the words fell, Iris Su suddenly looked wronged. Meow meow, I was just trying to give you some well-meaning advice. How could a man like Shenyang ever truly be with you? He's just playing with you. Seeing her like this, I knew Nash Jiang must have arrived. Sure enough, the next moment, Nash Jiang strode over, looking at me with coldness and disgust. Lin Miao, I always knew you had a malicious heart. If you have any tricks, come at me. What's the point of bullying Iris? I looked at Nash Jiang with disgust. Nash Jiang, please keep your girlfriend in check and stop trying to seduce other people's boyfriends. Do you think Iris is like you? You just broke up with me and immediately got together with your boss, a mediocre and worthless woman like you. If you hadn't schemed and manipulated him, how could he possibly be with you? Nash Jiang said coldly. I couldn't help but clench my fist, before I could retort. Shenyang's voice came from behind me. It's nothing compared to you hooking up with Miao Miao's best friend before you even broke up. Also, Lin Miao is outstanding. And I was the one who pursued her and wanted to be with her. Shenyang stepped forward and wrapped his arm around my shoulder. Iris Su and Nash Jiang's expressions changed simultaneously. My heart ached, and I felt the urge to cry. Whether Shenyang's words were sincere or not, he had defended my dignity and saved my face. Let's go, Meow Meow. If you keep talking to your ex-boyfriend, I'll get jealous, Shenyang said with a gentle smile, blushing with embarrassment. I nodded, before leaving. I saw Iris Su's eyes red with jealousy. Indeed, from childhood to adulthood, almost everyone around us has always preferred Iris Su. Today was the first time she became the one overlooked by a man. How could Iris Su possibly tolerate that? I know she definitely won't let it go at that. But it doesn't matter anymore. At least, I won't be competing with Iris Su in matters of the heart anymore. As for Shenyang, if we can be together, then we'll be together. If we can't be together, let's part on good terms. I won't foolishly love a man with all my heart like I did in my past life, to the point of losing my life from the hurt. After returning to the restaurant, I looked seriously at Shenyang. Shenyang, thank you for standing up for me just now. Shenyang looked at me deeply. Isn't this what a boyfriend should do? However, your taste in friends is really poor. Hearing his words, I couldn't help but let out a bitter laugh. Yeah, I never expected my judgment to be so poor. To have fallen for a devil who would even kill his own daughter. Just as I expected, Iris Su began to find ways to accidentally run into Shenyang. Iris Su is the type of woman with a very feminine charm. She speaks gently and pleasantly, and has high emotional intelligence. As a result, almost every man who has interacted with her has fallen for her. Even after breaking up, her ex-boyfriends not only don't blame her but instead continue to defend her. I thought that sooner or later, Shenyang would also be captivated by Iris Su's charm, just like other men. But what I didn't expect was that Shenyang immediately ran off as soon as he saw Iris Su's figure. Is she a piece of sticky candy? How can she be everywhere? Shenyang said to me with great annoyance. I couldn't help but slightly curl the corners of my mouth. Doesn't this just prove how charming you are? Aren't you happy to have a beautiful woman chasing after you? Shenyang immediately glared at me. Do I still need to rely on pursuing beautiful women to prove my charm? Also, are you secretly hoping that she chases after me? Are you secretly laughing at me in your heart? I quickly shook my head frantically. No, no, how would I dare? I see you're quite bold. Shenyang suddenly leaned in close to me. I was so startled that I immediately shrank back. As a result, I could only press myself tightly against the car seat. Tonight, come to my place. Shenyang's voice suddenly grew a bit hoarse. I was taken aback for a moment, then nodded somewhat sheepishly. I don't know how long I'll be able to stay with Shenyang, but I have to admit, every day spent with him has been joyful. 2 months later, I woke up one morning feeling suddenly nauseous. Thinking back to that time at the hotel, when I forgot to take the pill after waking up, I couldn't help but reach out and touch my stomach. After work, I went to the pharmacy, seeing the 2 lines. I couldn't help but zone out. In my mind, I couldn't help but think of my daughter who died tragically. Hatred welled up in my heart once again. Then I picked up the phone and made a call, using a voice changer. Hey, how's it going? Don't worry, this girl is easy to hook. I'll have her in bed tonight. Don't forget the final payment when the time comes. No problem, I smirked coldly. It's been 2 months. With Iris Su's patience, she's probably already tired of Nash Jiang by now. Doesn't Nash Jiang think Iris Su is a goddess? Well, we'll see about that. I told Shen Yang about my pregnancy. I want to keep this child. Don't worry, I'm not trying to force you into marriage. If your family doesn't want it, I can raise the child on my own. I know this child is no longer the daughter from my past life, but I just can't let go. Shen Yang, however, joyfully picked me up and spun me around at that moment. What are you thinking about? Of course we have to get married. Our child can't be called a bastard. I looked at him with a completely bewildered expression. But will your family agree to us getting married? Shen Yang reached out and gently tapped my nose. Of course, they've known about you for a long time. I was dumbfounded once again. They don't object. Shen Yang laughed. Object to what? My parents have known for a long time that I like you. You like me? Shen Yang looked at my shocked expression and nodded with a smile. Of course, why? I looked at him in disbelief. You might not remember, but we've actually met before. 10 years ago, I ran away from home in a fit of anger with my parents, saying I'd rather beg on the streets than go back. My mom said no one would even give me a penny if I begged. Later, we made a bet. If I could beg for 500 yuan, I would go home. So I actually ended up wandering the streets for several days and even copied others by making a sign asking for 500 yuan to get back home. But no one was willing to lend me $500, and even $1 or $5 was rare. Just when I thought I definitely couldn't go home, two girls appeared in front of me. One of them looked down on me and walked away disdainfully. But the other one actually gave me $500. Hearing Shen Yang's description, I couldn't help but widen my eyes in astonishment. Is that beggar you? At that time, she had just gotten first place in her final exams and received 1,000 yuan in prize money. The young man's eyes were so utterly desolate and hopeless, and he kept wiping away tears. Out of a moment of soft-heartedness, she ignored Iris Su's dissuasion and gave him 500 yuan. What if he really couldn't return home because he had no money? After all, she had also faced similar hardships. But who would have known that he was actually Shen Yang, the young master of the Shen family? Fate really has a way of playing jokes. Shen Yang suddenly held me tightly. So when I saw you on the day of the cruise ship accident, you have no idea how thrilled I was. From the moment you gave me $500, I swore that I would marry you when I grew up. It's just that I never ran into you in that place again later. Luckily, we've met again now. Hearing this, I couldn't help but explain. I was later recruited by another school, so I never went to that street again. I see. Shen Yang nodded, then he added, so you can rest assured. My parents have known for a long time that I want to marry you. They won't object. I finally breathed a sigh of relief. Soon, Shen Yang took me to meet his parents. Sure enough, both of them liked me very much and even teased Shen Yang, saying that he had begged himself a wife back in the day. Because I was pregnant, the wedding date was quickly set so that I could have the ceremony before I started showing. After that, Shen Yang and I became very busy. While Shen Yang and I were busy preparing for the wedding, Nash Jiang was also following Iris Su and discovered that she was involved with another man. Iris, what are you doing? Did he force you? Nash Jiang stared intently at Iris Su, his eyes filled with obsession. He simply couldn't accept that the goddess he had been pining for had betrayed him. Iris Su looked at Nash Jiang, crossing her arms indifferently. Nash Jiang, since you've found out, let's break up. Why break up? I don't agree. For Iris Su, he had even given up the lives of Lin Miao and his own biological daughter. How could she betray herself? It doesn't matter if you disagree. I don't like you anymore. Iris Su said calmly. Hearing this, Nash Jiang immediately panicked and said, No, Iris, just pretend I never found out anything. Let's not break up, okay? I don't accept a breakup. I love you. Iris Su frowned and then said, Suit yourself. Now, please leave. Nash Jiang could only glare resentfully at the man in the room before leaving in despair. Iris Su thought their breakup was inevitable sooner or later, but she never imagined what Nash Jiang had once given up for her. And how could he possibly accept her betrayal? So when Iris Su woke up again, she found herself locked inside the room by Nash Jiang. Iris Su finally felt fear. Nash Jiang, are you crazy? What you're doing is illegal, Iris Su said sternly, but Nash Jiang didn't care at all. Iris, there are too many bad men out there. You're only safe here. I saved your life, so you belong only to me. Nash Jiang gently smiled as he stepped forward, softly stroking Iris Su's face. Iris Su, however, felt nothing but chills down her spine. She never expected Nash Jiang to be such a yander. "Iris, have a child with me. With a child, you won't leave me," Nash Jiang said with a laugh. Iris Su struggled frantically, but it was to no avail. At this moment, she finally regretted provoking Nash Jiang. But it was already too late. 3 months later, Shenyang and I held our wedding. At the same time, because Iris Su had gone missing, her ex-boyfriends filed a report, which eventually led the investigation to Nash Jiang. When Iris Su was found, she had been abused by Nash Jiang to the point of becoming emaciated. She was then sent to the hospital for a checkup. It turned out that Iris Su was not only pregnant but also infected with the AIDS virus. When she learned that she had contracted the disease, Iris Su went into a frenzy, screaming and causing a commotion in the hospital room. She simply couldn't accept the outcome, and Nash Jiang, who had been with her for so long, naturally did not escape it either. When Nash Jiang found out he had contracted the virus, he was so agitated he nearly went insane. "Iris Su, you wretched woman, I'm going to kill you." At that moment, Nash Jiang finally completely believed what I had once said. He loved Iris Su, but he loved himself even more. But he never expected that Iris Su would actually get infected and pass it on to him. Endless regret began to corrode Nash Jiang's heart day and night. He should have been alert the moment he discovered Iris Su's betrayal, but now, it's too late for regrets. After hearing about the crazy antics of Iris Su and Nash Jiang, I just slightly curved the corners of my mouth. Then, I gently reached out and touched my enlarged belly. "My baby, in this lifetime, you will have a mom and dad who adore you. We will cherish you like a precious gem, protecting you for a lifetime."